All right, so we're diving deep today into something I think a lot of researchers kind of struggle with,
Yeah.
and that's promoting academic papers.
Yeah, for sure.
It's easy to think like, okay, well, I spent all this time doing the research.
Right.
It's good research, it'll speak for itself.
Right.
But honestly, like that's not really how it works.
Yo, not at all.
In today's world,
Not anymore.
yeah, you really have to put in the extra effort
Well,
to get your research noticed.
it's true.
Yeah.
You got to think about it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like there's so much research out there.
Yeah,
How is yours going to stand out
exactly.
if you don't, help it along a little bit?
Yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Um, and I guess to start off, kind of the main idea here is that it's not just about ego.
No, definitely not.
It's not just about like, oh, I want to be the famous researcher who everyone knows.
Right.
It's really about impact.
Exactly.
It's about making sure that your research can actually have some real world effect.
Totally. I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we do research because we want to make a difference.
Yeah.
We want to contribute to knowledge. We want to help people. We want to solve problems.
Exactly. And to do that, people actually have to know about it.
Exactly. You got to share it with the world.
Right. So, and to your point, like promoting it also helps with things like collaboration.
Oh, absolutely.
Getting other people excited about your work.
Totally. I mean, when other researchers see what you're doing,
Yeah.
it can spark new ideas, new collaborations. It just keeps the ball rolling,
So how do we actually do that?
Right.
How do we promote these papers in a way that's effective?
All right. Well, first off, I think we got to move beyond like just the old school methods,
Okay.
Presenting at conferences is great, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but we need to think bigger.
Okay. I like it.
So think about social media, for example.
Okay.
You've probably seen those researchers on Twitter
Yeah.
who like break down their complex findings into these really engaging threads.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, I've definitely seen that.
Or how about visual abstracts?
Oh, yeah.
Those eye-catching graphics that summarize your research?
Yeah.
Those are great for platforms like Instagram or LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
That's the kind of stuff that really cuts through the noise.
Right, because it's so visual, right?
Exactly.
People are scrolling through their feeds.
Yeah,
Something eye-catching is going to actually get them to stop.
totally. It's all about grabbing attention.
So, okay, that makes sense. But how do you tailor that
Right.
to different audiences?
Oh, that's a great question.
Like, if you're trying to reach other academics
Yeah,
versus, say, policymakers,
right.
like, how do you change your approach?
Totally different approaches, right?
Yeah.
So for academics, they're going to be interested in the nitty-gritty details.
Okay,
So you might want to dive deep into your methodology on a platform like ResearchGate.
gotcha.
But for policymakers,
Yeah.
they need the bottom line. So a concise policy brief that summarizes your key findings and recommendations.
That's way more useful.
Way more effective than sending them some long journal article.
Right, right. And to that point,
Yeah.
sometimes it feels like you need like a whole team to do this.
That's what I mean.
Like to create those visuals, to write those policy briefs.
It can be a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think it makes sense for researchers to be collaborating with people outside of academia
Oh, absolutely.
to kind of help them with this stuff?
I think it's essential, actually,
Yeah.
especially if you're trying to reach a broader audience.
Okay.
So think about science communicators.
Okay.
These are folks who are really skilled at translating complex research
Yeah.
into engaging narratives that anyone can understand.
Right.
Partnering with them can be a game changer.
Like how so?
Well, they could help you create a short animated video explaining your findings.
Okay.
Something that's easily shareable on social media.
I see.
Or they could help you craft a compelling blog post
Yeah.
that summarizes your research for a general audience.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
It's all about bridging that gap between academia and the public.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of value in that.
Oh, tons.
I was thinking about that study.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it was on.
Hmm.
I want to say it was like the impact of climate change on coastal communities.
Okay. Yeah.
And they had this incredibly powerful video
Yes.
that went viral.
I saw that one.
Yeah, and everyone was sharing it.
Oh, so well done.
It was such a good example of like how to take something that's very complex
Right.
but make it accessible and engaging for everyone.
Exactly. And that's the power of visuals and storytelling.
Totally so.
It can really bring research to life.
Okay, so we've talked about all these different ways to promote research.
Yeah.
But how do we actually know if it's working?
Right. We got to measure the impact.
Yeah. And I mean, traditionally, citations have been the go-to metric.
Yeah, for sure.
But do you think things like social media engagement or downloads are also important?
Oh, absolutely. I think they're essential.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. Downloads show that people are actually interested in reading your work.
Hmm.
And social media shares mean that people are talking about it and spreading the word.
Right.
These are all signs that your research is having an impact beyond just academia.
Yeah.
And honestly, they can be really persuasive to funders and institutions, too.
Oh, interesting.
They want to see that your research is reaching a wide audience
Right.
and having a real-world impact.
Yeah, and it's not just about like getting more money.
No.
It's about showing the value of the work,
Exactly.
which is important.
It is.
Yeah, so it's really fascinating to see how this whole like landscape of promoting research has evolved.
Well, it's changed so much.
It really is an ongoing process of like learning,
Absolutely.
adapting, finding new ways to connect with different audiences.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that promoting your research can open all sorts of unexpected doors.
Oh yeah, like what?
Well, you might connect with potential collaborators,
Yeah.
secure funding opportunities,
Yeah.
or even discover new career paths that you hadn't considered before.
Interesting.
Yeah, like maybe you realize you're really passionate about science communication
Yeah.
and you want to pursue that as a career.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or maybe you find a new area of research that you're really excited about.
Oh, that's cool.
And you decide to shift your focus.
So it's really about putting yourself and your research out there.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
never know what might happen.
Yeah. And speaking of putting yourself out there,
Yeah?
if you are looking for new opportunities in higher ed,
Yes.
you should definitely check out academicjobs.com.
Great resource.
Yeah, they have listings for all kinds of research and science specialties.
All sorts of stuff.
So, you never know where sharing your work might lead you.
You never know.
Awesome. Well, this has been really insightful.
Glad to be here.
Thanks so much for sharing your expertise.
My pleasure.
All right, that's it for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See ya.